Hey everyone, Retire on Dividends here. I'm back for another monthly update to my Retire Now account. So what is my Retire Now account? It's basically my active account. It's a taxable brokerage account where I invest in high yield dividends, and now mostly I do options trading. And this is the account that I plan to mainly retire on. Obviously, I'm working on another account called the Dividend Car account. That will be a separate video, but for now, we're going to cover in specifically the Retire Now account. So this is as of, end of month December. So obviously, Happy New Year. Right now, I'm recording this on New Year's Day, January 1st. So I got the closeout numbers for the year, for the month, and let's get to it. So right from the top, you'll see I have AMZ and NVIDIA. Now, these were two of my favorite funds, but I've come to the realization, because number one, like they kind of worked as placeholders. They were just sitting there, making money, right? And they were doing their job. But the difference is, holding those as a placeholder, as a low maintenance, item. You could see their margin maintenance was 50%, which is pretty good. Not 30, but it's 50. But the problem is, do I really want to hold, have a placeholder be an individual company risk? Not only an individual company, but a covered call ETF fund of an individual company. And the short answer is, So basically no. I wanted to get out of all individual company risk, working as placeholders. So I'm working on now making sure that the funds that I do hold are holding a basket of stocks. So that being said, I did sell AMZ and NVIDIA, but they did pay me AMZ paid me $258 this month, and NVIDIA paid me $237. So I did collect some money from them on the way out, which was good because I needed it to capture my goals. But now that they're gone, I am reliant on, only 3 other funds at this very moment. Now, those 3 other funds we'll get to right now. Number 1, which is my most important one, is ULTY. Now, why is this the most important one? This is the one that actually has a freaking yield that can reach my goal, help me reach my goal. Now, ULTY, surprisingly, their margin maintenance on Charles Schwab is 30%. I don't know why, but I'm not going to ask questions. Maybe because it's a basket of stocks, but hey, I'll take it. So for that reason, it moves up to the top because I'm a fan of ULTY. I know people say, ULTY's not performing, it's not moving. Guys, if it pays us at like a 70, 80, 90% distribution and the price don't move, I'm good with that. But anyway, I own now 600 shares of ULTY. And by the way, I'll get into the overall profit I made on AMZ and NVIDIA once I sold on the bottom. But anyway, we'll go down the line. ULTY, I own 600 shares. My cost basis is $11.81. Currently, the price of ULTY is $8.97. Because again, I bought ULTY at kind of near the top. I'm not going to say at the top, but near the top. So I've been averaging down. Obviously, my cost base is $11.81. Now, the current allocation, they are 8.43% of my portfolio, which makes up about $5,382. They did pay me $390 this month, and that's a yield on cost of 71%, which again, my goal yield on this account, now that I'm using margin, I use it as needed, is 60%. 60% is aggressive. I know. I should probably adjust it now that not going to say conservative, but trying to get a little closer to the conservative side. But yeah. But for now, it is still 60%. I haven't changed it. So a yield on cost of 71% is awesome. They have paid me total distributions of $1,400. So I'm sorry, updated total is $2,200. So they paid me 31% of my original investment. So total return, I am up 7.35% on ULTY. All right. Now up next is SPYI. This one, I was hesitant before. In previous videos, you probably heard me say, I want to get rid of it. But, I really got it thinking. And it really, it helped. A commenter said something a while back, maybe on last month's video. Why would you sell, this fund that does basically a lot, right? It has capital gains. It has, a high, quote unquote, high yield, right? And there are tax advantages too, right? So SPYI, it's ending up to be actual kind of like a permanent placement in my portfolio. And again, I consider these funds, any buy and hold type fund now is a placeholder, and it has to have low margin maintenance. And the reason is, if I'm going to hold it, it's going to, number one, it's going to pay me a decent dividend, and it's got to have low margin maintenance, because again, I want the most margin available. I'm not saying I'm going to use it, but it's important that it's available. So SPYI also has a 30% margin maintenance. I now own 120 shares of them. My cost basis is $49.52. Market's down, so the current trade price is $50.82. I had much more appreciation before. They are 9.56% of my portfolio. So they, again, distribution wise though, their yield is not fantastic, because they paid me $56.80 this month. That's an 11.47% yield, although I did buy more, so it kind of shows that, the yield is less when what it should be. I think it should be around like 13% or so. But either way, guys, 11% is low. My goal is 60%. So luckily I got the 71% on the above. But again, it's a balancing act, right? What is ULTY, right? ULTY trades various high-risk stocks, basket of stocks. What is SPYI? Well, they do options on the S&P 500, right? A little more conservatively, like we said. So that's why they yield a little lower. But it's going to, keep the NAV, keep the balance overall stable. So yes, I am keeping SPYI. It's going to be, I guess I can't think of the word, but it's going to be one of the main stocks I'm going to hold in my account to balance everything out. Updated distributions. So far, I have received $592 from SPYI. They paid me 9% of my original investment. Total return on SPYI since I bought it is 12.6% positive. All right, my other holding is FEPI. Everyone knows FEPI, right? FEPI holds basically tech stocks, and it's a covered call ETF. And it's a Rec Shares fund. So they also have margin maintenance of 30%. And before you ask, where's AIPI? AIPI, for whatever reason, has a higher margin maintenance. I know they have a higher yield and they hold more funds. But right now, until they lower their margin maintenance, they're not going to be a part of this account. Once they get to a 30% margin maintenance, I will probably consider adding AIPI. Maybe on top. I don't know if it would be, because I don't want to get rid of FEPI, I don't think. But anyway, FEPI, I own 150 shares. My cost basis is $53.84. Obviously, market's been tanking, so the trade price is $49.65, so I'm actually down in capital, again, on paper. My current allocation, they are 11.67% of my portfolio, okay, which is decent size. Obviously, I don't have a lot of holdings, so it's not that high considering. Now, they did pay me $151 this month. That's pretty good. My yield on cost is 22%, so again, that's decent. Their normal yield is 25%, but again, since my cost base is higher than the current price, my yield on cost is obviously going to be a little less. Total distributions to date, they have paid me about $1,189. That's 14% of my original investment they pay me back. And my total return with them is 6.94%. And that's all of my current holdings. Again, I'm going to add more. I'm not rushing it. There's a couple things I need to keep in mind. I kind of need them to balance out to be a respectable yield. So I'm already eyeing the Russell, any Russell fund that could pay me a decent distribution. And don't say the Round Hill fund, right? Because that's in a separate account. I'm interested in monthly payers in this account. So I'm looking at IWMI. That's another NEOS one like SPYI. But again, that's a lower yield. So I would need another high yield to balance that out, right? So again, I have to think about it. But right now, these three I am very happy with. Obviously, I have various exposure. I got the S&P, I got tech stocks, and then I got, the degenerate stocks in ULTY. I would like the small cap stocks using the Russell for IWMY, but again, IWMI is a 30% margin maintenance, so I already did check that out. And then, we'll see. We'll see what I could find. But again, you can tell now I'm getting to be a little more conservative after I got my ass killed a little the other day in the market, or the other week, or this week. But, I'm changing things slightly. All right, now, speaking of options and getting killed, I trade options on TSLL, TNA, Misty, MSTU, Mara, Bitex, Soxel. All right. Now, right now, I cleaned house, basically. I cleaned house. And what does that mean? I took a loss on my options trading account. And I never do that. Based on my strategy, I do the wheel strategy, and I never lose capital. However, I did make a decision to do some tax loss harvesting because I did make more money than I thought in options this year. And I got to the point where I was in a tough spot in my options account. I actually made a lot of stupid moves. So I said, you know what? I'm going to sell for a loss. Again, hopefully this works out. I've never done this, but I'm going to sell for a loss. And I'm going to take the hit, and it's going to essentially deduct some money that, my overall taxable income from my options premium. So I did do that. That's why you see there's no shares basically outside of Misty. I didn't sell those because, again, that pays a freaking high yield. So Misty's going to be, the keeper, because I don't care if I have to buy and hold. However, they're not going to be a keeper like on the top, right? These suckers up here. Misty can come and go as they please, right? As soon as I can, I'll sell calls on Misty because I don't care, right? Or I'll sell puts. But right now, since I did sell MSTU for a loss, I sold Soxel for a loss, I sold Mara for a loss, I'm not going to mess around with Misty and buy into it, right? Because of the wash sale rule. I will wait 30 days till I touch any of these options trading funds. But anyway, for this month, how much did I make in options? I made $2,904, which that is a record for me. That's my best month. However, at the same time, this was my worst month performance wise, like stupid move wise. This is the top of it. But I got greedy and I got burnt. So I took the hit. All right, let me take advantage of this. Let me sell out of the funds. Let me deduct my options income total, which will help me in tax time, which I needed help because, again, I wasn't as prepared as I thought come tax time. So hopefully my tax bill will be much less, and, we'll go from there. So anyway, that's for that. Also, cash. You look at the cash. Obviously, you see I have a lot of cash. $42,257 in cash. 66% of my portfolio right now is in cash. And the reason is I didn't rush into anything because the market's been on a sell-off and I'm kind of just waiting on the sidelines. But yes, I'm going to make a move soon. And my plan is to do options starting with TNA, right? I'm going to get back to the basics. TNA, TSLL, those are my two. They haven't done me wrong. I started getting greedy, getting into some of these crypto ones. And they, again, I don't want to do more than one. In fact, Mara shouldn't even be on here. I don't know. Because I was in MSTU, Mara. I was like, what the hell is going on? I got way out of hand. But hopefully, again, I'm going to play it right. I'm going to do what I have to do, and I'm going to do much better in the coming months and this year overall. Okay, so the end result is I have made a total monthly distribution of $3,998. You know how bad I wanted to make 4K, but you know what? Who gives a crap, honestly? It doesn't matter. That's still a huge number. I didn't want to make any trades just because to hit 4K. So anyway, I made $3,998.09, which is awesome. And I'll show that, how that compares, to my goals. My current portfolio balance went down, though. It's down to 63,816. I got as high as almost, well, I'm not sure. I think I touched 70K, and then the market tanked, and then, well, here we are. So it's okay. It's still at 63K, which is a good number. And then here's the sell that I was talking about on NVD. NVD, I did sell my 200 shares. I did have capital appreciation of $452, and in total in dividends, they paid me $4,378 lifetime. So I made a profit overall when all said and done on NVIDIA of 112%. So I'm not mad, right? I just didn't want the individual stock exposure anymore to that level. And then same thing with AMZ, although, they're a big, more secure company, less volatile, but I still sold them. I sold 300 shares, and I actually took a hit. Capital loss of $641, but dividends, they paid me $2,822. So overall, I captured a profit of 34%. Okay. Now, some of you could say, and I actually just started this now, maybe the other stock that you could add to your funds could be one of the newer YieldMax funds, right? One of the newer ETFs that they opened. And that's honestly, I was just thinking about that right now. But obviously, it depends on their margin maintenance. It depends things like that. But again, I need a placeholder with low margin maintenance and a respectable yield. All right. So that's the summary here. And again, right now, you see, I sold off pretty much everything except ULTY, SPYI, and FEPI. Right. I'm still holding Misty, which is fine. They're going to pay me a dividend, so they can sit there. Because I'm not going to sell them for the wash sale rule, because they say if I do tax loss harvest on MSTU, I can't buy into this fund or similar funds for the next 30 days. MSTY is a similar fund to MSTU. Again, in my eyes, it is. I don't know about their eyes, but I'm not messing around with it. Okay. All right. So let's get to the fund tab, the details, the summary tab. Now, let me zoom out so there you go. All right. A lot has changed here. First, let's look at December. All right. The month of December, my income goal was 3,309. Okay. And what was that based on? That was based on, if you go to the formula here, it takes C29, which is last month's estimate balance of 66K. And it multiplies that by, where is it? B4. B4 is the yield with margin goal of 60%, and it divides it by 12. So that was my goal, 3,309. I made 3,998. Obviously, I have exceeded the goal, which was, as expected. And now what else? Can I zoom in without? Oh, wow, I can. All right, good. So my capital goal, it was much higher last month. It was 66K. However, as many of you know, I do have a realized losses because if I'm going to sell for a loss, I have to recognize it in order to stay on top of my account and hit my goals. So I deducted the $6,560 realized loss from the capital, and my goal capital was now 62,900. And I ended up with 63,800. So I actually did hit my capital goal by 1.41%. So that's pretty good. Also, my overall yield was 75%. All right. Again, my goal is 60. My overall yield, I did make 75% of my investment. Now, what does that use? Let's see, because I don't even remember half the time. So it's D30. All right. It's the dividends I made, 3,998 times 12. Divided by E30. Okay, so it's basically the dividends divided by the current account balance. All right, so I did make a yield of 75%. So that's awesome. All right, now, okay, we talked about the realized losses, right? So we see that. And again, I had some losses along the way, way back in the day. I think this 4,000 is Tesla. I think this 2,800 is Tesla. Tesla whooped my ass, and now options kind of whooped my ass. But at the same time, it's going to help me tax time, so I'm not too worried. Now, starting in January of 2025, I have now decided to schedule my mortgage payment to come out of the Retire Now account. Why? Well, again, I plan on retiring early, or at least plan on having the option to retire early. So I'm working on having all of my regular reoccurring bills come out of either this account or the Dividend car account. The mortgage is my biggest payment that's due. So I'm probably just going to have the mortgage come out of this account and everything else the other account. So we're going to start that. In fact, it's already scheduled to come out today, which I should check. Although banks are closed, it'll probably hit tomorrow. But yeah, starting today, the first of every month, $1,300 is going to get paid to the mortgage company that I owe the mortgage to, right? And that's it. And it's going to go as far down the line. So what does that mean? Why do you give a damn? Well, basically, it's going to now shrink my capital. So as you can see, as I go down the line, I have estimate capital. So I take the prior month's estimate capital, right? And I add several things, right? I add the distributions that I'm supposed to make. And then I obviously subtract any realized losses. And then I subtract any bills, which being the mortgage. So obviously this goal, this estimate goal right here, is not going to be as aggressive as it was. So, going down the line, yes, my income and my capital is still going to go up, but is going to slightly delay how much, I can make over a certain period of time. But there's no worries, because guess what? I'm still working. So my work income, obviously, is not going to have to worry about the mortgage. It's not going to have to worry about these other bills. So it's a little more flexible. So in due time, when I get rid of this stupid credit card that's been a little larger than I'd like, I'll have a lot more extra spending money out of my working check. Now, what am I going to do with that? Well, there's options, right? There's save up to fix things around the house, right? That's a need for sure. There's put the extra money into these accounts, or there's just nothing. Just leave it, right? But anyway, so that's what's happening. And now, like, if we go down the line, let's just say, since we're now in 2025, what about 2030? December of 2030, can I retire? Yeah, I would hope so. I'm showing an income of $60,000 a month with a capital of 1.2 mil. I'm sorry, not bill. I wish. But anyway, that's a little long. So I'd have to, again, consider, having the option to retire much, much earlier. So I'm going to draw this out. But again, I need to keep in mind, I do use several accounts. Again, we have the Dividend car account, we have this account, and now we have YouTube income, all right? So I'm going to start showing all three accounts, how much they pay me at the end of each month, and to show you guys, if I annualize that, how much am I going to actually make with all three? Because all three are producing income, taxable income, all right? So yeah, stay tuned for that. So for now, this is just the Retire Now account. And this account, again, I did produce almost $4,000 for this month, which is pretty good. And that's using $63,000 in capital and no margin. I did not touch margin this month, so there was no margin interest charge. However, I did take the loss hit. You saw that. So that's kind of a little setback, but I'm going to be very happy when I file my taxes and I remember, oh, damn, thank God I did that, right? So, because again, I am planning on having a tax bill. I just don't know how much, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. All right. Anyway, guys, as always, none of this is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you're entertained. If not, we will try again next time. Again, I just want to share my journey from the beginning to the end. You see, I started in September. I had $1,200 in income, $41,000 in capital. And then now, obviously, here we are in now December 2024. I ended almost $4,000 income, $63,000 capital. Guys, also, I'm not even putting new money in. I can't afford to put new money in because, again, I've been paying all my bills out of my work account. But things are changing now, right? Now the bills are going to come out of this account for this year. So that's a work in progress. But for now, the mortgage, again, I don't know if it's going to work. So what I did actually already pay the mortgage. So this is going to be, this first month is going to be a double mortgage payment. So again, because I don't trust it. That, and plus it's a freaking holiday, so it's already going to be late probably. If I schedule for the 1st, it might come out in the 2nd. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. But again, I just want to share everything I do with my journey. If you guys are interested, obviously, that's why you're here. But yeah, if you are interested, or if you have any questions about what I've been doing, some of the changes, if you want to make comments, just leave them down below. If you enjoy this content, please hit the like button. It does go a long way. And outside of that, I don't really have anything. Obviously, I said it's not financial advice. Please, make your own decisions based on your current situation, not based on anything that I'm doing. All right. So, set goals, draw it out, see how it's going to work. Right. And don't make stupid moves that you're going to regret. Right. But anyway, that's the update. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Stay tuned for, obviously, the next one will be the end of January, right? And we'll talk then. Hopefully, we can hit the goal. The next goal is $3,146.43. I think that's doable, but again, we'll see. Remember, I'm playing it more conservative. All right, guys? All right. Thank you, and have a great day. Later.